thanks for joining us from our studios in Tel Aviv. Coming up in today's show, Israeli Jews and Arabs rally for peace. Israel refuses international intervention on the Temple Mount, and an Israeli bar tops world charts. I'm Natasha Kirchak, here with the latest news in Israel. Thousands of Israeli Jews and Arabs rallied for peace this weekend. Over 1,500 protesters marched through Jerusalem with a common goal: to put an end to the wave of recent violence in Israel. Demonstrators called for Israeli and Palestinian leaders to resume peace negotiations. And the head of the left-wing Meretz party called on the Israeli Prime Minister to accept UN intervention on the Temple Mount. But it looks like Israeli leaders are not having it. Prime Minister Netanyahu is clearly against the UN deploying international security on the Temple Mount. Israel's new envoy to the United Nations, Dani Danan, made Israel's opinion loud and clear to the UN Security Council.
Israel will not agree to any international presence on the Temple Mount. Any such intervention would violate the decades-long status quo. What Abbas is trying to do comes as no surprise. History has shown us that every time a Palestinian leader wanted to avoid taking a difficult decision, he filled the void with incitement and false accusations and lies regarding the Temple Mount.
The terror continues. 5 Jewish Israelis were attacked at Joseph's tomb in Nablus, this time by Palestinian police. The 5 were part of a larger group of 30 Hasidic Jews that entered the holy site without security clearance. Palestinian police showed up shortly after and attacked the religious Jews. Most of the group escaped, but 5 were caught. The illegal worshippers are now being detained by the IDF. The incident occurred just 2 days after a group of Palestinians set fire to Joseph's tomb. The IDF is ramping up security on Jerusalem's public transportation following weeks of violence. Soldiers are set to be stationed at bus and light rail stops, and they'll even be mobilized on buses and trains throughout Jerusalem. This move aims to bring back order to the lives of Israelis in constant fear of Palestinian attacks.
What happened here that I saw my brother run into our apartment and saying that he saw a terrorist trying to stab someone, and then a guy with a gun came out and shot him in the head and killed it, and then this whole mess began.
300 soldiers will be mobilized in the capital to prevent further violence. This month, 7 Israelis were killed and over 31 were wounded by Palestinian terrorists. While Israel's cracking down on Palestinian terrorism, Hamas is asking Russia for help. Hamas leader Khaled Mashal took to the terror group's website to complain about Israel. He blamed the recent spate of terror attacks on Israel's oppressive policies, and then he urged the Russian deputy foreign minister to stop Israel's aggression against Palestinians. Mashal's demands come right as Israeli-Russian military relations are improving in Syria. Russia's defense ministry just announced that its forces in Syria set up a hotline with Israel. At the same time, 2 major American leaders are showing solidarity with Israel. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio visited victims of a recent terror attack in Jerusalem. During the Saturday visit, de Blasio told Jerusalem's mayor, "When you're under attack, we feel under attack." Meanwhile, the new chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff met with senior Israeli leaders to discuss the recent violence. Joseph Dunford reaffirmed America's commitment to the Jewish state. A lone soldier in the Golani Brigade got the surprise of a lifetime last week. Yonatan Hadar made aliyah from the United States to serve in the Israeli Defense Force, but his parents weren't able to show up for the special ceremony at the end of his basic training. So they took to Facebook to ask local Israelis to greet their son at his beret ceremony. And their post went viral. Over 200 Israelis showed up to be Yonatan's stand-in family. Looking for some good drinks after work? Look no further. An Israeli bar has topped international charts with its delicious cocktails. Drink International has ranked Tel Aviv's Imperial Craft Cocktail Bar as the 17th best bar in the world. The special bar calls itself a temple to the lost art of the cocktail. I know I can't wait to go check it out. In other news, Israel and China are coming together in the name of water innovation. They've chosen the Chinese city Xiaogang to be the testing ground for new Israeli water technologies. China will gain sorely needed innovation in desalination, sewage treatment, and irrigation. And Israel will hopefully persuade the Chinese government to adopt such technologies in other cities. Either way, the collaboration shows great strides in Israeli-Chinese relations. No matter how hard times get in Israel, Israelis always remember how to have a good time. Check out these Israeli police officers having fun on the job. Enjoy watching, and that's it for today's headlines.